a much more important game because if you completely run out of stamina, you are not able to even strike at your opponent.
If you need to call your friends for help, go to the menu and select SOS Flare to signal them. And you're going to need friends when you go up against some of the
Okay,
tougher
real quick.
monsters.
Hold on. To fix some of that frame rate that's dropping due to the streaming, let me get. Let's see. Advanced graphic settings. Set that to low. That to mid. Okay, there we go.
In order for the scout flies to better track a target monster, we need to keep finding traces of it. Like footprints, for example. Good. You're turning up a lot of clues.
And thank you. You've got pretty good hair yourself, if memory serves, streaming for hope. Let's see.
Okay. We've tracked the Great Jagras enough for the scout flies to lead us to it. You're less likely to lose sight of a monster if you use the focus camera.
Now in this case, because I'm mostly low on coatings, I'm going to be showing you guys the close range coating that I have. Okay. I actually need to sit down, eat some of my rations. Now, I committed a bit of a no-no this match so far because I didn't actually grab anything out of the supply box like I should have. Now, one of the cool things about the bow is you can dodge mid-charging of a shot. Along with that, if you charge up, do that, there's a good, and you aim it right, which I did not there, you have a good chance of mounting the monster.
Now's your chance to topple it. Okay, it's down. Now's your chance to get in there and tear it up.
Now, one of the big benefits of the bow is something known as the Dragon Piercer.
Scout flies as a guide and they'll lead you right to him.
It essentially, for the most part, works as a super powerful attack
Dodge
that,
their attacks.
that strikes.
Take hits like that head on.
Okay. God damn. Nearby. Okay, hold on. Let me get these small monsters taken care of so that way they're out of the way and I can finish fighting the Great Jagras.
Dodge
Ooh.
their attacks. You don't want to take hits like that head on.
Look out! Your health is low. Keep your distance and use a potion.
Okay. Really dreaming for hope? A mountain joke? Okay. So, that ability of the bow actually has a good chance of stunning a lot of monsters if you are able to actually get it working correctly. Crap. There we go.
Oh boy, that monster's really mad now. Be ready for some vicious attacks.
Sadly, Handler, it's only a Great Jagras. I'm not expecting anything too vicious from it. I'll save expecting vicious for when I'm facing a Diablos or a Pink Rathian later. Okay. Let me grab some materials from this. Dreaming for Hope, you've been watching a bit too much Yiff lately, haven't you? Okay. Moving on. At this point, typically, once you get a monster decently one of the large monsters decently damaged, they'll begin to run away and eventually seek refuge, especially once they get really down. Real quick, I've got some materials I'm actually going to gather from these.
Now's your chance to deal some serious damage.
Now, one of the things is if you do wind up meeting Gaju Whiskers, the bow is definitely one of the better weapons in my experience to actually grab to actually be able to manage the Whiskers, because you do need to strike them right in the face. Okay, Great Jagras is already back awake. Now, mounting the monsters do have a few advantages. It gets you in a good few weak strikes like this. You're relatively protected from damage if you actually can manage the brace and the attacks pretty well. Along with this, you do get one charged big attack typically, regardless of what weapon I've used, at least you get one. And then it stuns the monsters, which makes for a great way to wail on it. This is a great example of how the Dragon Piercer actually functions, and what makes it so great is that it goes through the entirety of the body, damaging all of its parts, allowing you to damage several parts at once to actually potentially be better able to collect it, as well as causing damage with each strike.
Almost done for. Chances are it'll retreat to its nest to recuperate.
Assuming it gets back to its nest. Now, one of the other advantages of the Dragon Piercer is if you're using a particular coating, like sleep coating or poison coating or powder coating, or in this case, close range, because that's the only one I've got with me right now, you would actually deal it with each individual attack that it counts for. Okay, let me stop here. Grab some material. That is one of the things that you will definitely have to balance out in Monster Hunter World, is gathering standard material as well as material from hunted monsters. While also keeping in mind any quest time limits you may have. Fairly easy to do with most standard quests that have a 50-minute time limit, especially early on. But once you get to the point where you might have some quests that are like 30 minutes, 20 minutes to defeat some of the more powerful and monsters that have to take more strategic fighting, you will wind up in situations where you might not have as much free time as you're used to. Along with that, some quests may have you fight several large monsters at once, especially once you get up to high rank. Now, starting in high rank, it becomes a bit of a different game for Monster Hunter World, at least, because you start to get a lot more powerful enemies with a lot more powerful equipment, though. Now, especially in caves here, the close range the close range coating is actually really useful, because what it does do is it lowers the range you have with the bow, but you do more damage up close. Now, the Jagras has the habit of eating monsters, so that way it can actually regain some of its health, and doing that rolling ability that it has. Okay, no problem. Let's see. And now, one more strike, and things should go by. Should go. Okay. Let's
Okay,
see.
let's head back and report to the old man.
Okay. So when it comes to grabbing materials after a fight, it's always important to remember, especially if you've been hunting a big monster, is grab that big monster's materials. And if you have nearby bone piles, mining spots, I recommend grabbing them so that way you've got the materials for crafting.
I think we got a lead.
Maybe. Let's check it out. Hey. Well, you were right. There's our mark. Something's got him agitated. Look over there. What in the heck is that? I've never seen anything like it.
You think it's from Zora Magdaros?
I'd like to find out. But we better report back first. All right?
Let's see. Okay. Let me get one thing fixed to the stream real quick. Chat does not seem to be appearing on the screen. Let's see why that is. Okay, true. Group. Properties. Done. Okay, there we go. There we go. So now at least it should be popping up once. Let's do one more slight edit. Now that I know that it is popping up for sure, I'm going to be right back in just a moment. Going to go grab me some water.